Hello everyone and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. This is Ray Magtarayo. I am the immigration consultant of the Magtarayo Canada Immigration Consultancy. If this is your first time to be watching my videos here in YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and at the same time share my videos. I am a licensed immigration consultant and I provide information on how people can come and immigrate here in Canada. I also discuss the different programs that people could qualify as a pathway when they are interested to come here in Canada. Anyways, for today, I am so excited because I just completed filling out my application forms to become a Canadian citizen. Yes, guys, you heard me right. So I just completed my application forms for the application for Canadian citizenship. And obviously, of course, as you've been part of my journey here, of moving here in Canada, definitely this is something that I would like to share with all of you guys. And for sure, a lot of people are now just aspiring to become a permanent resident of Canada and of course in the future become a Canadian citizen. And that is the reason I decided to create this video so I would be able to guide you on how to fill out the forms, what are the requirements, and what are the things that you should do in order to qualify for a Canadian citizenship application. So guys, please make sure that you watch this video until the end, and if you have any questions, please feel free to put that in our comment section down below. Also, if you have any inquiries or if you want to be assessed, if you qualify for Canadian immigration, please feel free to email me on my business email address. It's ray@magtarayocanadaconsultancy.com. So guys, as you're aware, I came here in Canada way back in August 2018. And it's just 2021 and people are just wondering, oh, it's very soon. How come I am already qualified to come and apply for a citizenship here in Canada? Well, guys, I will explain that to you one by one. So listen attentively so you would be able to understand what are the requirements and the eligibility for you to apply for a Canadian citizenship. Okay, so the first eligibility requirement is that you must be a permanent resident here in Canada for at least 3 years. 3 years out of the past 5 years. In short, 1,095 days. And also, just want to make sure you're aware as well that here in Canada, if you're applying for Canadian citizenship, they are not only counting the days that you became permanent resident. They are also calculating the days that you were here in Canada on a temporary resident status. So what are the temporary resident status? For example, if you are on a work permit, if you are on a visitor's visa, prior to becoming a permanent resident in Canada within the past 5 years, they also calculate that. So for those temporary stays, such as work permit, international student, or as I mentioned earlier, visitor's visa, they count it as half a day. So for example, if you came here in Canada on a work permit while waiting for your permanent residency for 30 days, you get a credit of 15 days, which will also be calculated on the residency requirement to become a permanent resident. Of course, another requirement is that you must be a Canadian permanent resident in order to apply for a citizenship. So for permanent residency, people are thinking, okay, it's 5 years validity from the moment you arrive in Canada as a permanent resident. You are actually a permanent resident for 5 years, unless, of course, if you will renew it or if you will decide to go home and to cancel your permanent residency. But when you are applying for Canadian citizenship, you must be a Canadian permanent resident at that time. The next very important requirement is that you must have filed your income taxes for the past 3 years. So for me, for example, I came here in 2018 in August. So I was able to file it on the 2019. I was able to file it also on my 2019 tax return on 2020, and then my 2020 tax I was able to file it on 2021. So in short, I was able to meet the 3 years of income tax returns: 2018, 2019, and 2020. And that makes me qualified to apply for a Canadian citizenship. So, guys, you need to make sure that you are applying or you're actually filing your income taxes regularly every year. Okay, at the same time, of course, since you are planning for or you're applying for citizenship here in Canada, you must be able to demonstrate that you can communicate in either of the two languages of Canada, which are English and French. And in order for you to prove that, of course, you should be able to present or provide a test results that is qualified or recognized test results by the IRRC. So some of the exams are the IELTS, the CELPIP for English, and TEF for French. Okay, what if you are not able to, you have not done the exam before? So the Canadian immigration also accepts any other documentation proving that you could communicate in English. So what are the other documents? So for example, if you could provide your transcript or your diploma from the foreign country, for example, and it has to show that you are or you completed a post-secondary education taught in English or French medium. The documentation should also be translated in English or French. So those are the other requirements. At the same time, they can also accept the previous exam results that you used when you were applying for permanent residency. And of course, most importantly, you should be able to pass the citizenship exam. So I haven't taken my citizenship exam, but definitely I'm very anxious about it. I really would like to take that exam and pass the exam. So what's gonna happen is I will pass my application, and then from that time I will get an invitation to take the citizenship exam. And once I pass it, voila, I would be able to apply for my Canadian citizenship. Or actually, I would be able to pass the Canadian citizenship application since I already applied for it. Okay, so those are the eligibility requirements of how you could start applying for Canadian citizenship. However, there is also a prohibition, meaning if you have this, you will not be allowed to apply for Canadian citizenship for quite some time. And that is a conviction or a case or a term of imprisonment if you committed a crime in Canada or outside Canada. So guys, you have to be good, okay? Do not commit any crime. Okay, so as mentioned, there are options for you to apply. You could apply online or you could apply paper or sending me your application on a paper application. And for me, since I'm only applying for myself, I'm allowed to do my application online. So as you can see here, this is a sample of my screen. So you would have to provide your personal information, contact information, residence and tax, work and school, prohibitions, language proof, and consent on the last page. So I'll go through the application form itself. So it says, for example, in which language would you like to receive service? For me, English. Do you have special needs requiring accommodation? For me, it's a no. So we're referring to wheelchair access, sign language interpretation, braille, large print reading material, access for an assistant, seeing eye dog. So basically, it's more of those people who has or who require special needs or who has disabilities. And on my case, I don't need that. And then it will ask for my unique identification number as well. And then it will ask for information like if I have changed my name before or becoming permanent resident. For me, it's a no. Did I use any other names? No. Height, date of birth, and other information. So more, it's personal information. And then it will ask for your contact information. So basically all the information about you, residence and taxes. As you're aware, it is mandatory to be eligible that you are living in Canada for at least 1,095 days or 3 years over the past 5 years before the date of your application. So it's very important that you apply with more than 1,095 of living in Canada in case there's a problem with the calculation, right? So it will also, I already did fill out the physical presence calculation and I have already uploaded it here. So it's easy. And then it will also ask for your history. Enter details of all your employment and education history in the past 5 years. So it says here, start with the most recent application or employment or education. Include any periods of unemployment, retirement, working as a homemaker, or self-employment. Do not use any abbreviations or acronyms. And if there are any missing days, periods of time, or if the section is left blank, will return your application. So it's very important that you make sure that there is no gaps here. So for example, for me, I put everything, even just for a month of my part-time and all my jobs, education, even the time that I was unemployed, I put it here. So for example, here I was unemployed because I got laid off, or I was actually on vacation in the Philippines. And then, yeah, so the date is from October 2016 because that is my inclusion date, okay? And then it will ask you as well for your prohibitions, if you're serving a term of imprisonment, you're in probation or on parole, if you're serving a sentence outside Canada, are you now charged or on trial? So basically, it's more of your criminal activity. So it's very important, as I've said, to protect yourself. Do not get involved in any criminal activities because this will prohibit you from becoming eligible to apply for Canadian citizenship. And then it will also ask for your language proof. Do you have proof of knowledge of English or French? As mentioned earlier, I will be providing my IELTS test result and it has already been uploaded. And lastly, the consent. So basically, this is asking me to provide, if I allow them to provide consent to share my information to my any member of parliament. And then also for elections, because obviously Canadian citizens can vote here in Canada. And then, yeah, so those information. And once you have filled out all the applications, then you just have to save this. And then upload more documents. So here they will be asking for citizenship photo and personal identification ID. The date it was taken, paying the fee, and submitting. Once all is completed, you can submit it. Okay, so that is the application procedure for becoming a Canadian citizen.